Hello there, folks. My name is TinyTim78, and I'm going to be running Dizzy Prince of the Yolkfolk on the ZX Spectrum. Before we start, very quickly, a couple of things. I do have a commentator with me, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Digital Duck.
Okay, and also
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, and Nost is here as well.
Hello. I'm here, most certainly. Thank you for having me on, Tim, and obviously ESA for allowing me to do the donation really for Tim's run.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. So very quickly, we're going to get started in just a second, but just a little introduction for those of you who've maybe not seen this before. This is a bit of a rarity. This is a ZX Spectrum game. Okay, the ZX Spectrum was a home computer that came out in the 1980s in the UK. Very, very British. We're very British here, you see. And this is Dizzy Prince of the Yolkfolk. And what I'm going to do is when I get started, I'll give you the little bit of a rundown of the sort of storyline and a little bit of what I'm doing, and then Duck will fill in some of the other things. So we're going to get started shortly. In fact, we're going to get started right now. So I'm going to count down. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, go. And we're off. So Dizzy and Daisy have been exploring in the forest, collecting cherries to bake a pie for Grand Dizzy. Unfortunately, they ran into a nasty evil troll who stuck Dizzy in the dungeon, and he also locked Daisy away and put her under a curse. So unfortunately, I've now got to escape. I've got to rescue Daisy, and I've got to get 20 cherries as well, because Grand Dizzy needs his pie. So, would you like to explain a little bit about the series itself, Doc?
Yeah, so this is actually the 6th game in the series. Most games follow the same format, so it's a sort of puzzle platformer. You go around the world collecting items and using them to solve various problems. This is probably one of the shortest, I would say, but one of the easiest, but it's also one of the best. And it's basically this is a classic, and you should definitely check it out if you haven't already.
Yeah, I do run the other games, or quite a few of the other games in the series. I don't run them all yet, I'm working on. I've only started running them this year, so. But this was a favourite game of mine in my childhood. It was a real favourite. The music for the time is absolutely brilliant. I mean, compared to what we have today, yeah, okay. But I'm old. This game's old. I like it. Right, okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm making my way across towards the River Styx. And as I say, I'm doing various puzzle solving bits here. Now, I picked up a gold nugget, I picked up a cage, and I picked up an Acme bridge kit, which I'll be using very shortly. Now, this game doesn't have any specific speed tech, but it does have lots of precise movement and precise jumping, and it's very, very easy to mess it up. Could you explain what I'm doing here, please, Doc?
Well, what are you doing?
I was picking up the hidden cherries.
Oh yeah, so there are 20 cherries hidden throughout the game, and some of them can be hidden behind various obstacles or items that don't look like items, they look like background elements. It's actually a common theme across the Dizzy series, so once you figure out that that's something that the game asks you to do, you get used to it. What just happened there?
I've just broken the game. I managed to drop the cage in the wrong place, and I've just broken the game. I've just soft locked it. We're going to have to restart this run. That is well, give me 2 seconds, see if I can fix it. But that is the literal never happened before moment. Look at that.
I have never seen that before.
I've run this game a lot, and I've never seen that.
Right. Never happened before, Tim.
It's never happened before, right? Okay, we're gonna have to restart. Link boss, can we stop the timer there, please?
Can I? Tim, can I have a moment then to
yes.
Yeah, because we have got a donation in, because you mentioned about how much of a classic this game is, from Lightson for $30. Good luck to Tiny Tim. Haven't seen this game in decades. Best of luck to you.
Lightson, thank you so much indeed. Really, really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. Right, okay. Are we just about ready? I'll give it a few seconds for the timer to catch up, and then we'll give it another go. I have never ever seen that. I do apologise. It's an old game. It's an old game. That's my excuse. Right. Okay. So if we can stop this, stop the timer when we get the opportunity, and I will give you a countdown again for restarting. Okay. As I say, I do apologise for that. That's a very strange one. Very, very strange. Right. Okay. So I'm about to restart. So if we can get a restart going on... Oh, where are we? Here we go. Right. So we'll restart on 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Seconds out, round 2. Oh, I'm gobsmacked. I do not know what happened there.
Yeah, so what basically happens is that somehow you manage to drop the item underneath the ground, and items sort of overwrite whatever the background collision is. So if there's a collision, if there's an item there, it will assume there's no collision behind it, because normally you can't drop it on the ground. I don't know how you managed to drop it in the ground though. That's really strange.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I've been running this game quite a while now, and I've never once had that happen to me. So hey, it's all good. It's all good. Just means you get to see the first part of the run again. Right. Okay. So that's me picking up the cage. And we're going over here, we're going to pick up the Acme Bridge Kit. Now this game is more about, as I said, precision movement and making sure you're picking up the right objects in the right order and using them in the right order to solve various puzzles. And this one is, as Duck was saying, a relatively easy one. But that doesn't mean to say it's easy, and it's certainly difficult to do it fast, I would say, in terms of sort of manipulating the movement. There's quite a bit of inventory management, that sort of thing as well. So I will just keep going there. Would you have a wee talk about health and the lives there, Duck?
Yeah, so in most of the later Dizzy games, you have a health bar, and this slowly drains as you touch anything that can hurt you. The longer you're touching it, the more health it drains, and when it runs out, you lose a life. But usually the collectibles, in this case it's cherries, will refill that health. And so as long as you know you're collecting cherries, you can take some damage to speed things up.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this again then. Oh, I started by missing the jump. That's not very good. Oh dear. Well, yeah, it happens, doesn't it? Right, okay, here we go. So, I've picked up a railing. I've picked up the cherry. I'm now going to go up and get the second hidden railing. Now, what happened last time is I ended up dropping the cage in the wrong place. How I managed it, I have no idea. But it happened. So this is what's supposed to happen. You've got to go on here, pick up another railing, pick up a cherry, and I'm dropping the railing again, because if I don't drop the railing, it messes up my inventory, basically, my inventory management. I'm then going to do a cloud jumping. Cloud jumping here is slightly different in this game than it is in some of the earlier Disney games, but it's not a lot of fun. And I'm going to make my way up towards where I'm going to be using this harp. Do you want me to say some more about the cloud jumping?
Yeah, so the way clouds work is that as you stand on them, you slowly sink through them. And this means that if you're actually trying to do anything precise with it, it's very difficult. You have to keep jumping to maintain your height. In some of the earliest games, that they were just treated like normal platforms, and this, I think it changed in Magic Land Dizzy, the 4th game, and it's been consistent since. I say since because it's only had 7 games. It's not like the series has been going non-stop since then. But
okay, so I'm giving St. Peter the harp in heaven, and I get the holy cheese. And who likes holy cheese? Hoogie the Fuffle, who's this little pink little guy down here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drop my cage on the floor. I'm going to drop my cage, put the cheese in the cage. The Fuffle's going to go inside. We're going to pick up the caged Fuffle, the cherry that was behind him. And now what we're going to have to do is go and look. Now you might think, where am I going? Why am I going straight back on the boat? Would you like to explain where I'm going here?
Yep, so there is a hidden cherry in the game. well, one of many hidden cherries. This one's very easy to miss. It's also very difficult to collect. You essentially have to go all the way back up to heaven, and then you'll see we drop down in a certain place.
Yeah, this has been giving me a bit of difficulty, but I have managed to get a sort of new technique for it, which is making it a little bit more consistent. So there we go, that was a wee bit consistent better than now. Right, okay, this is going better now. We're finally on doing a little bit better. Now, notice that poor lion there. We'll be coming back and dealing with him later on. Obviously, I've been rushing through this at top speed, so I've been ignoring things that normally you would possibly sort of stop and speak to, like this guy, for example. I'm not going to worry about him for now either. And there's the troll, and if I drop the cage fluffle on the ground, the fluffle goes rawr and chases the troll away, which is rather nice. And then nice little jump there. Now I pick up this outboard motor. I'm going to take the outboard motor back over. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of back and forth in this game, and that's where the speed aspect is down to the movement. It's making sure you're getting your jumps right, making sure, and that was a mistake because I jumped when I shouldn't have. And it's just it's quite a tricky little game to run actually. It's also, as we said earlier, one of the easiest ones in the series. I've started running the other games in the series, and Magic Land Dizzy. Oh, I missed the boat there. Oh, no.
Oh no, this is quite the time loss because we've got to wait for the boat to go all the way to the other side and all the way back again.
Do you have anything to say, Nost? Anything to regale us with?
Well, good timing there, Tim, because we have got one donation in here. This dono is from Clock District of $5 saying, Dizzy is the OG Fall Guy. And for the $5
like
there.
Fall Guy, doesn't he? Yeah. Thank you very much indeed for that. That's greatly appreciated. Now, where am I going? I'm just completely lost myself. There we go. Yeah. That missing the boat has completely and utterly screwed me up there. Because what I should have been doing is going over and giving the ferryman the motor. There we go, look. So, give the ferryman the motor. That's better there. And then you get the scythe. Now, this is where we get a little bit more expansion in here. I thought I'd missed that jump, but I didn't. Right. I mean, you may think, oh, this game's easy. No. I mean, this is a relatively easy one in the series, but still not easy.
Especially if you don't know where everything is. If you haven't learned the game, it's very difficult.
Right. Okay, so we're now into this sort of second castle here on the far side of the map. That's a bugle that I'm going to pick up. There's a chap who needs that later on. And I'm going to go up here, I'm going to pick up another cherry. Now you'll notice that there's a couple of items that I've been ignoring. Do you want to mention those, including that one there, Duck? Do you want to mention those?
Yeah, so some of the items in the game aren't needed to beat them. They're there to try and distract you, to try and make you use them to solve puzzles that aren't really needed.
Yeah.
And some of them can actually hinder you as well. I don't think there's any in this game, but in other games there will be items that actually make life worse for you.
Yep, nice little double jump there. Okay, as you can see, we've got double trouble here. We'll be dealing with him later on. This is one of the worst hidden cherries in the game. If you don't know it's here, you wouldn't think to look behind that roof tile to find the cherry. I don't know how it got behind
this
there
is the
in
one
the first
that
place.
this is the one that I could not find for the life of me when I played this game.
I'm taking a massive, great big jump here, and you'd be delighted to know Dizzy must be a hard-boiled egg because he doesn't smash on impact, which is rather good. Let's just see now. Oh, that was bad timing. Never mind. I have to wait for the boat to come back.
At least it's faster this time.
Yes, it's much faster now because we've got the outboard motor on it. So it's a little bit quicker. Right, okay, here we go. So what I'm going to do now is I've picked up the tweezers and I'm heading up the hill here to deal with our friend Mr. Lion here. And we're going to get him tweezed. There he goes. A little bit of tweezing on that, and that's him done. And to pick up the thorn. That thorn is going to be useful. That was a pretty big thorn if you compare the size of it to the size of the lion. Right. Okay, come on, boat. No. Boat says no. Right, okay, so what we're doing now is we're taking the thorn back over here. Lots of back and forward in this game, unfortunately. as I've been playing more in the series, I found that yes, that is a bit of a thing. And that's kind of the sort of part of the genre, really. It's part of the way these games are. I don't know yet whether or not this is the worst one for it. I think this is actually slightly worse than the other ones I've been doing at the moment. Magic Land's perhaps probably worse than this, but... Now, this time here, I can take a shortcut and jump off there, and because those thorns are gone, I can just go straight down there without having to go through that bit on the left. So that saves me a little bit of time there. I'm going to try and do a nice little quick jump there, like that. Now, this is quite a tricky bit, because what I've got to do here is I've got to put the thorn down here, so I'm dropping the thorn. Now, you can probably see what's about to happen, maybe. Because I'm going to go up here. Oh, I'm not going to I'm going to wait for that bat. If I go in that bat, he'd kill me. And then pop. The Evil Dizzy walks over the thorn and gets popped. And I can now grab my spanner with a cherry behind it. What would have happened, Duck, if you maybe enlighten us as to what would have happened if I hadn't used the thorn?
Yeah, so the blue thing at the top is a button, and it will open the doors underneath and drop you in the water if you try to collect the spanner first, because the Evil Dizzy will also use as you use.
Yep.
He'll press his action button, so to speak.
Yes, you've got to do it in the right order, otherwise you end up in the drink. Now we've got 3 lives here, as Duck mentioned earlier on. It is quite easy to lose lives. Mainly falling in the water is the main thing. Because you can't die from falling distance-wise. The only things that will actually physically kill you is enemies like that, or falling in the water.
Got time for another donation?
Go right ahead, mate.
So we've got one from Cheese Soda Punch for the amount of $50. I love Holy Cheese. What an excellent run, Tiny Tim. Don't crack under pressure.
Oh, thank you, Cheese Soda Punch. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you. $50. Thank you so much. Remember, folks, all your donations are going towards Crisis. It's a really great cause. It'd be absolutely fantastic to support. So please, if you can, I know it's a tricky time for everybody, but if you can, it would be really appreciated. Now, I've made a slight error here. Would you point out my error in my ways, Duck?
So there is a person you have to give a bit of bugle to, and that hasn't happened.
Yeah,
Luckily, it's just a short detour. But
yeah. Now he's just dropped a magic carpet, but I don't need a magic carpet. That's one of the red herrings we were talking about. So unfortunately, I can't use a magic carpet to fly anywhere. But now I've opened the gate. Now I've opened the drawbridge, which I should have done after the bugle. Now we're actually right at the end of the run here, just about. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes maybe. We're pretty close to the end. So what we have to do is pick up that grass, because that's got a cherry hidden behind it, as you do. Pick up that grass, because guess what? More cherries. Drop that down there. We've got this poor crying princess here. And what do you do for a poor crying princess is you give her a joke book. And she gives you a flag. And we pick up a block of rock that's got yet another cherry hidden behind it. And we're just about at the end. We've got one little bit left to do. Now I'm sitting on 17 cherries, which is right. I did a practice earlier on and I missed a cherry, which was very bad.
especially when you don't know which one it is.
Yeah, it was the
It can
top
be
one
a
again.
it can be a nightmare to find it.
Yeah, it was the top one in the one behind the railing. Again.
Oh, in the treehouse section, yeah.
Yep, nice little double jump there. And we're now going to put the flag up here. There's the bugler. You speak to him. He's going to summon the king. And the king is going to make us Dizzy Prince of the Yolkfolk. Now, that means that we are now a prince. And that's important because without being a prince, we can't wake Daisy up because Daisy's been put under a spell. And of course, in all good fairy tales, you need to kiss the princess to make her wake up. So that's what we need to be, and you need to be a prince as well. So that's what we've done. We've become the prince now. That key is the last item that we're going to need in the game. It's the key to open the door to where Daisy is sequestered. she's in the other castle, in a room we haven't seen yet. This is literally the last bit of the run. This is the last couple of minutes. So I will be counting down time. There's a little bit of dialogue between Dizzy and Daisy when I rescue her. And then there's a little bit of dialogue between Dizzy and Grand Dizzy. So I will count down for the time. But we are just about there. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Nost? Anything else you'd like to add just now?
No, I believe we haven't got any donations so far, so folks, make sure to keep them coming in.
Yeah, no bother, and thank you very much. I would just like to give a big shout out to everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the run. I know it's something a little bit different. Big thank you to Doc for commentary as always. I really appreciate it. Doc's
My pleasure.
an avid Spectrum fan. Runs Spectrum games as well as myself. There's a few of us now. We've got our own little sort of Spectrum community developing, which is really nice to see. We're heading out over here. As I say, thank you to Nost for the amazing hosting, and thank you to UKSG for letting me showcase this run. It really is appreciated. I know this is something a little different to your usual fare, but I like it. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. We're coming up to the end here, so I will start giving you the countdown in a second for the tech. And as I say, I hope you have enjoyed. If you have enjoyed, please feel free to give me a follow. I do all sorts of different things. I've been doing quite a lot of World of Warcraft recently, but I do World of Warcraft, I do Amiga games, I do Spectrum games, I do all sorts of sort of variety stuff. So please, if you're interested, come along and say hello. Right, there you go. We've got the cherry. That's the last cherry. You need 20 cherries to finish the game. You can't actually finish the game without the 20 cherries. Time is coming up very shortly. So time will be coming up in about, maybe what, 5 seconds or so? So we have got time coming up. When as soon as I finish smashing through this dialogue, it'll be time. And time is going to be... time. There we go. Okay. Thank you very much indeed. I hope you've enjoyed that.
Big GG's there, Tim. Thank you so much for taking part for UKSG today. It's been an absolute blast having you.
Thank you.
And you're obviously an awesome member of the team as well.
Thank you very much. It's really appreciated. I'd love the opportunity just to have a bit of fun, to enjoy myself. And I hope everybody's enjoyed. Thank you for all those generous donations. Absolutely amazing. Remember, all these donations going towards Crisis. So thank you again. I'm going to go away now. Thank you ever so much, folks. Enjoy the rest of the marathon. Thank you, Nost. Thank you again, Digital Duck. And we'll catch you the next time. Cheers.
It's a pleasure, Tim. Next up, we have Chifo with Not a Hero. So make sure to stick around for that then, folks. We'll see you all in a short moment.